I think he's performed pretty well in 10-over cricket. And the other thing is when you come to Cartermore Oval, you know you're going to have to deal with some better bowling. I think he can handle it. There's a little helicopter that comes out. A little junior copter. That's what I'm saying there. As Malia moves to 40.
Doesn't mind the odd helicopter shot. Malia brings him undone occasionally, but virtue of those quick hands, able to generate pace without much swing of the bat.
And that's the other thing, Saim Hussain, player we know pretty well in the network. It's his first trip to the Cartermore Oval.
Love to keep Battingala on strike for a few balls here. New man at the crease. Been under assault from the Sanik's Eye pair.
Got a decent one first up. So let's see.
Got to keep an eye on this clock too. The boys from Bulgaria.
Yeah, a little bit tardy.
Comes a big charge down the wicket. So 2 dot balls to start his innings. Doesn't really take much to have a reassessment down from the 160 type rate down to 145, 140. And then sort of scores manageable.
Think about then, CC Academic Sophia probably don't have the kind of out and out big hitters all the way down the order. They certainly have some guys that can get in.
Good ball, just squeezed out by Battingala, the fielder.
Oh, didn't see it there.
Leg hasn't seen it.
Well, Mishra took an age to go after. I think probably what it's going to be 2 either way. That was such a good Yorker. It swung in at the last moment. And to be fair to Battingala, he works very hard for his first 2 runs on the network.
Isn't it funny that you've had 2 guys in before who, when they had momentum and were on top, just making batting look so easy. All of a sudden, poor Battingala's got out of there and he's faced a couple of absolute seeds in his opening 3 balls.
It's Oliver Pike-esque actually under lights.
Goes charging down the track, outside edge, and well, his slightly tortuous stay has been completed. Nicely bowled from Singh, and Battingala goes for 2. Another wicket down, and Alton just stuttering from a place of ascendancy. They're at 100 for 3.
Well, I might have to take his Battingala and go home after that one because just broke away, I think, a little bit from Gagandeep. Is it the cutter? Not really. I think it's maybe a bit of seam movement. Loses the front shoulder. Loses his shape, tries to go leg side. Well taken by Simon, who's having a pretty good night behind the stumps. And that will be the 3rd wicket down with the score at 100 for 3.
Hard to know, is it more of a pressure situation when you're coming in and your previous batters are scoring at, not far off 20 runs per over? You're almost forced to keep up that rate, otherwise you're looking like you're really putting the handbrake on the score.
I get your point. I still think it's less pressure because the costs of failure are not as dire. Here's the rock.
Dion Johnson just plays out with a relatively straight bat and continuing a pretty good over here from Singh. He's only gone for 15, which in relative terms of this innings, of his 1.5 overs, is a pretty good return.
I said it earlier, when you're losing the game and things look really tough, just try and win the next ball, try and stack up a few little wins together, and they've kind of done that with 10 balls without a boundary, 2 wickets in there as well. That's one way to avoid getting hit to the boundary, but yeah, it's been good. And look, have a good last 3 overs. Maybe you can keep at 130s, which is about a par score, maybe a few more than that.
We saw last night, Hoodinger both won the first 5 overs of both innings in that final group stage. Still lost the game. Always a chance to come back as that one is hit high and straight down the throat of the fielder. Bashir down there at long on takes a pretty tidy catch. And yet another wicket. Great pair of overs from Singh. He ends up with 2 for 15. And Alton, 7 overs gone, 100 for 4.
Handy one to get as well. It'll be a 2-ball duck for Johnson. But Bashir down there looks like more pirate than man, doesn't he? Under lights, but it will be Dion the Rock Johnson that has to walk the plank for a 2-ball globe, 100 for 4. Well taken here. Sometimes these are the good ones. It's not hit too hard. You don't have too much time to think about it. The wind's not really